Hello friends, I'm Chintamani here. Today we will learn how to create a file in UNIX or Linux. So the first command, which is the simplest one, is the touch command. So when I say touch and some file name, let's say file1. Okay. I created a file called file1. But this is just a file name with the name file1, which is of 0 bytes. So touch actually does not do anything, but it just creates a file with 0 bytes because we are not yet learned editor or any other commands which will create a file. So touch is just creation of a file of 0 bytes. If the file is already existing and if you give a touch command, then it works in a different way. So let's see whether there are any old files. Okay, there is one old file, dummy1, whose date timestamp is June 12. So if I try to now say touch space and then dummy 1 and again do a ls minus l, then it will show today's date. Earlier it was showing a date of June 12, whereas now it is showing it as June 15 with the timestamp, that is the timestamp which is there now. So current date timestamp. So touch command is to create a file. If it is not there, it will create a 0 byte file. If the file is already there, then it will change the date timestamp of that file. So that is about touch command. How to create a file of say one line or a few words. Okay. So let's look at the echo command. When you normally say echo command, it will just echo. So if I say echo some text and press enter, then it will display some text and return back to the command prompt. If I want to redirect this, which means I need the same text in a file, then I'll say greater than. So here greater than is called as a redirection. So I'll say, for example, I'll this time I'll say file1. Okay, file1 is already a 0 byte file, so it will not overwrite anything. So we are safe. So I'll say echo some text greater than file1. How to display the contents of a file? The command is cat file1. Cat displays the contents of the file. So cat file1 will display some text. So we have this file. If we see ls minus l now, the size of this file, which was 0 bytes earlier, is now 10 bytes. Okay. Sorry. So that's about creating a file and putting some text there using echo command. Now instead of greater than sign, if I do a greater than sign, say for example if I say echo space some more text, so we'll put some more text into existing file. So suppose I say file1 which is already existing, I am again doing the same command echo, but instead of greater than, this time I am saying greater than. Both the greater than signs are together. It is called as append. So it's an append operator which will actually uh, append whatever text was there along with the echo into the already existing file1. So earlier we are having a text, some text. Now we are having a text, some more text. So there are two lines now. If we see ls minus l, the size is now increased with earlier it was lower number of bytes, now it's 25 bytes. It is having two lines as of now. Okay, now suppose I say echo and then greater than sign, and if I say file 7 for example, then what it will do is file 7 is not there, but in this case it will create a new file and put the contents some more text, so it will have only one line. So if I do a cat of file 7, sorry, it will display some more text. So echo command output can be redirected to a file using a greater than sign, or double greater than, which is greater than, it will append. If the file is not there and if you use append, it will create a new file and put whatever is there with echo into that particular file. Now how to create a file without echo? Okay, so we have a cat command. uh, cat, by default cat displays the contents of the file. So if I say cat file1, then it displays the contents of the file. But cat also can do something else. If I say cat greater than and file say 3, okay, cat greater than file 3, what this means is it's going to wait for a standard input and redirect whatever standard input is there into a file called file3. That is what it means. So greater than is redirection, but since with cat we have given nothing there, so what it will do is it will redirect it to file3, whatever you type from the standard input. Standard input in this case is the keyboard. So I'll say this is first line, okay, and this is second line. Okay, then you have to press Control D. When you say Control D, it stops there. So now if you say just say cat file3, it will display the contents which you have typed. Now suppose I say cat file3 and then greater than file4. What this will do is it will pick up the contents from file3 and put it into file4. Okay, so if you say cat and then some file name, so you say cat and some file name, so file 1, say for example I am on the right hand side in the notepad session, greater than and say file 9, then it will redirect the output of cat file 1, which is the contents of file 1, into file 9. Here on left hand side where we are logged in into the Linux system, here it will pick up the contents of file 3 and put it into file 4. So now we have another file which is file 4. We have a lot of files now. 1, 3 and 4 is there already. Okay. Now suppose I have two files, say file 1 and file 3. So the contents of file 1 should go to file 7 for example. Okay, but the contents of file 7 should remain, which means I need to append the contents of file 1 into file 7. So when I say cat space file 1 greater than file 7, what it will do is it will redirect whatever is there in file 7, but actually in this case it will do an append because we have a double greater than sign. So it will append whatever contents were there in file 1, it will append it into file 7. File 7 will now have the contents of file 1 as well as file 7 which was already there. File 7 followed by file 1. Okay. So if I now say file 7, it had some text. Okay, it was having some more text, and now what it has done is it has put the contents which was there in file 1. So file 1 was having some text and some more text. File 7 was having only some more text. So file 7 followed by file 1 contents. That is what it means. So that's about greater than and greater than. Greater than is redirection. Double greater than is append. Now there are some other ways. For example, when I say cat file 7, it displays the contents. It is same as cat less than file 7. These two things are same. So normally the greater than sign is called as indirection. So the greater than sign is called as redirection, whereas the less than sign is called as indirection. So the file 7 contents are displayed because what we are doing is we are indirecting, which means we are putting whatever was the contents of file 7 reverse on the left hand side, which is cat command, and cat displays the contents. So it displays the contents. Okay, so this cat file 7 and cat less than file 7 will do the same thing. But suppose I do a cat less than file 7, so file 7 has some contents, and now say greater than file say 11, okay, or let's say 17. What it will do is it will pick up the contents of file 7 since it is cat, so it will pick up those contents, but it will redirect because again we have said here greater than sign, so it will redirect to file 17. Now if you see cat of file 7, that's contents of file 7 and contents of the other file which we just created, that is file 17, both would be same. Actually this is same as cp command, so it has actually copied file 7 as file 17. So we have yet another file. So we have file 17 now, which is same as file 7. Okay, let me clear off the screen because it's gone to the bottom. So that's about the cat. Now there is another way of creating a file. If you want to type it out on the screen and put it into a file like we did earlier, cat greater than, there's another way, cat less than, and then type some string, preferably in the capital letters so that you understand that it has some special meaning. So file and say 8 this time. I'm saying cat less than EOF greater than 5. I type something. This is a file and its name is file8. Okay. Now if I want to end this, earlier when we were saying cat greater than, we are saying control D to break it, and the contents were going it or redirecting it to a new file. In this case, if you want to end this, we have to say EOF. This EOF is same as this EOF which is there along with the double less than sign. Okay, so you have to type till you type EOF, it will keep asking you greater than, greater than, greater than. So it's called as the secondary prompt. The primary prompt is my dollar sign which you see at the top. The secondary prompt is greater than sign. So when I say EOF, what happens is whatever was typed after the cat, one line was typed, and then a end of file string came up. It matched with the earlier one, and hence it will now have one line. So let's try to see the contents of file8. It will have one line. Let's do it once again just to understand. Let's do, instead of 8 we'll say 88. Okay. So this is line 1 and then this is line 2, and if you keep on typing it will wait for that string EOF to be typed. If you type for example EOD, okay, EOD will go now in the file. So when I finally press EOF, then only it will exit from here, and file 88 will now have line 1, line 2 and that EOD string, and then EOF will not be taken. So this string is not taken. Okay, so here the less than along with that string, it has a special name in Linux which is called as the here doc. Okay, so in this case less than this type, when we say I'm on the notepad now, is called as here doc, HEREDOC, here doc. Okay, so that's how, this is one more way of creating a file. Okay, now suppose I want to create a file, or I want to create a file which has its own contents as well as some new content. Okay, using the same here doc, and say cat less than, and say EOF. It can be any string, but the string should be same at the end. So now I am saying again greater than, this time I am saying file say 88, which is already there. So I'll say one more line, okay, then I say EOF. That's it. So it has come out. Now if I say cat file 88, it displays the contents, but one more line is added, which is one more line. Okay, so that's how it works. Now let's look at printf command. Printf is actually a function in C language. So here also we have something called printf. It works in a very similar way like it works in C. So those who are familiar with C language would understand what printf does. So printf, if I say printf means a formatted print. What do you mean by formatted print is, if I just type print f then hello one word exclamation or something like that, I want to create a file obviously, so I am saying greater than file1. Okay, what will happen is file1 is already there, so it is going to replace the contents which is already there in file 1. So we need to be careful in Linux. Whenever you do such things, if the file is already there, it's going to overwrite. So greater than file 1 has overwritten. Okay, sorry, here what has happened is printf, I've given an exclamation sign, right? That's a special character, and that is why it says event not found, because all the while characters which are there on the top of your keyboard, like exclamation, at the rate, hash, dollar, percentage, etc., these are special characters, so it has special meaning. So in that case there are other ways of doing it, but let's not go into that. I'll cover that when we do shell scripting. So I'll just type a hello world, the simple thing, and I'll say file 1. Okay, it got overwritten. So file 1 will have hello world, but if you see, it just displays hello world and the prompt is coming on the right hand side, it is not coming on the new line. Okay, if you want that enter key should be pressed after hello world, which means the cursor should go to the next line, which means the second line, then in that case what we need to do is, instead of just saying a print f and that string, what we need to do is we need to say printf and then whatever string you want to, so say hello world, sorry, hello world, and you want a new line, so slash n is special type of a character sequence. Slash n here is new line character, so it will actually force a new line. It will not print, or it will not put slash n at the end, but it will actually put a new line at the end, which means the cursor will, if for example if you are using an editor, it's like pressing an enter key. Okay, I'll say printf hello world greater than, let's overwrite file 2 now this time, and if you get the contents of file 2, then it says hello world and the prompt is shown on a new line now. So hello world and then enter key, that's what it means. Okay, so similarly in printf there are some other things also which you can do. For example, slash t, which is for tab, and so on. So for example, suppose I say print f and say hello, and I want some space, so suppose I want to say like this, hello slash t, so I put a tab space, and then I want a new line, so let's redirect it. We can also display it on the screen, so it's not, it will work same way. So let us put more space, which means actually it's a tab. Okay, if I put two tabs, for example, let's try that. Let's say slash t here, again slash t here, and press enter. It actually does two tabs there. Okay, so two tabs and there's a space also in between. So tabs and then space on the right, space on the left. So it looks like it has taken more space, but actually the space on the left hand side of the second one, right hand side of the second slash t, and so on. So it is printing hello world. In between there are two tabs. So this is how you can create files. So we did not do that, so let's do that. Greater than file 3. So now when you redirect it, it goes into a new file. If you want to append it, obviously you have to say, instead of less than, you can say greater than. So let's add one more line, same line maybe. So this time it has appended. So we'll say cat file 3. It will display two lines, hello world, hello world. Okay. Now this is creating small files. And these commands, why we are learning is because a few of them might be helpful when you are actually writing some shell scripts, or if you want to write small files or small programs like 3-4 line shell scripts or something like that. But if you want to actually create a file, or if you want to write a C program, then you need to use a VI editor. We'll cover VI editor separately in a separate session, but you can say VI and some file name. So let's say let's try to give a unique name. So I'll say file99 this time. Okay. So I'll create a new file, file99. At the bottom you can see it says file99 new file, and the cursor is on the top. What we need to do is, if you want to start inserting something in this particular file, then you have to press ESC key, which is on the left hand side corner, up on the topmost row on the keyboard, and then lowercase I. As soon as you say ESC and I at the bottom, that is the status bar, it will show insert, which means now you are in insert mode. You can start typing. So let's just start typing something. So this is a new file, and something like that. So learning VI editor. Now when you type something, you want to save it and quit from here, then you need to again press ESC, because VI editor works in two different modes. One is the navigation, which means going up, down, left, right, etc. And one is actually updating a file, that is editing a file. So just press ESC, then a colon. Okay. As soon as you say a colon, the cursor will come at the bottom. You can see there is a colon, and then just say W and Q. Okay. W and Q. Press enter. It is saved. So this is how we go inside the VI editor and save whatever contents we have typed and quit. So W is save, that is right, and Q is quit. If you see cat, there are two lines, then there was a blank line also, because I pressed enter there, so it has taken that blank line. So this is how you create a new file, or you can edit an existing file. We will cover VI editor in a separate session. So what we have learned now is creating files using echo command, the cat command, printf command. In all these cases, you have to use either the redirection, that's greater than, or greater than, that is append command. There are a few other things which we learned, how to use the here doc, which is less than. It's called as here doc, and only less than one time is called as indirection. Just to repeat, greater than is redirection, less than is indirection, greater than is append, and less than is the here doc. It's a special way of writing some scripts or something. Okay, so that's about it. Chintamani Thakur here, signing off, and bye.